Hello and welcome back to the Public Pool Podcast. I'm Michaela Pascal and this is Jack the Pool Boy, my beautiful, beautiful husband.
Yes. I am the beautiful one.
You are the beautiful one.
That's what everybody says. Nobody ever comments on our videos. I'm serious, this has literally never happened. Nobody ever comments and says, how did he get her? You know? Because they know, they're like, because he's hotter than her. The amount of comments we get in our videos, it is really funny because it's always like, there's like, dude, your wife's hot. And it's like, fuck yeah, man. Yeah. And you know what's funny too is like originally it used to be like half the comments like, how the fuck does he get her and stuff? And I was like, I've been asking the same question. Now not as much anymore. I think now that we're kind of a little bit more established, they're like, well, I guess he's funny. I guess he's funny.
You're funny, you're smart, you're talented, you're the
going.
full package.
Keep going.
You're a big, not even just a triple threat.
I'm a triple threat.
You could do math like this. You kidding me?
Kind of. Compared to you, I can do math like this.
Apologies for skipping last week. We had a whole lot going on. So for all 500 of you.
Had a lot of brand deals. Well, maybe this is the one that breaks out. We haven't, yeah.
I know. We have a lot going on with the brand deals. Your parents came into town. We're just trying to put out more output because I feel like we basically were like, let's move and then just like get into it. And I feel like we're finally in the rhythm. But now the two-man team has turned into this is a lot for a two-man team. Yeah. So we're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. What ends up happening is what happened in the past, like probably month or so, slowly but surely, is like I just will work really, really late to get stuff done because we have to get stuff done. And now we're going to bed at now I'm going to bed like 3 a.m. is my like call off. Yeah. And I don't love that. But at the same time too, it's like, I don't know. We need to do one of those things where it's like we just wake up at like 6:30.
I know. I'm thinking about doing that tomorrow just to be like, I just need to do a full reset because the thing with me working later is it's harder for me because my eyes are so bad. Yeah. And so it's like I have been working until probably like 10 or so at least every night. But then it's like my eyes just like ditch me and I'm like, I can't keep staring at a computer. And
yeah, no, for sure. And there is always that moment, and it's kind of because I have trouble sleeping anyway. So there is that moment. I kind of know when I'm supposed to go to bed, and it's when I can't really read. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, if I go to bed right now, it'll probably only take me like 20 minutes and then I'll be out. It's like, okay, do that. But also it's like, I know when we first got together and we first moved in together, it's like people have different work schedules. And I remember it's not a clash, but I know the first like, okay, here's something that we're going to have to like figure out is my like work schedule is very different from yours. You have the more typical of like at a certain point at 7 p.m. I'm done. I don't want to think about.
I'm calling it at a certain point. And also we work differently where you would prefer to do all your like regular stuff in the beginning of the day, like the gym and cleaning and like starting all the like the chores, and then you like to work until late. Like you're more in the rhythm of things later in the day, and I'm more of I'm gonna wake up and then once I have my coffee, I'm like, okay, I'm good to work right now, and I'd rather work right now, and then in the evening do my like cooking, cleaning, and like all that stuff.
Which works perfectly if we didn't have to all the time work together. Yeah. You know? But yeah, no, because I've always felt like the earlier it is in the day, I'm funnier the later the day goes.
And I totally lose steam in later in the day. Like I don't think I'm funny at all. Like whenever we shoot a sketch too late, I'm like, I think I just did terrible. Like.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, yeah. Whereas if we shoot a sketch in the morning, like I'll write stuff at night that I'm like, oh, this is really funny. And then we'll wake up in the morning. And if we just shot it right in the morning, I'll be like, why did I think this was funny? Yeah. And then at like 3 p.m., I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, yeah. All right, I see that joke. Oh, I am funny.
And 3 is when I start to crash. That's when my body starts to be like, okay, I'm tired. I need food. I need to chill out.
So basically, if you can't tell by how the podcast has gone so far, we're a mess right now. Yeah. We got a lot of irons in the fire, as they say.
Yeah, but it's good. We prefer to be busy, but it's just trying to figure out how to actually do it all and still maybe have a life.
Yeah.
But that's the last on the list right
now. That's literally last on the list.
I know. I was thinking about like before, because I've been like thinking about my YouTube channel and was like, oh, like should I like bring it back? And I was like, what kind of videos could I make for YouTube? And I'm like, I could do vlogs. Like just I don't go anywhere during the day. Like we would have the most boring reality show because we do our work and then we work. Like,
but sweetie, and to the audience too listening, the vlog channels that you watch, it's not like these aren't people who lived really interesting lives and were like, maybe I should start recording them. No, they're boring just like everybody else. And then they were like, okay, I'm going to do a vlog. And so they are doing crazy stuff for the vlog. That's work. It's not like their social life.
But I don't have the time to be like, oh, let me find an activity I could do for a vlog. Like
Yeah. Oh, I got a whole list of activities. I have Well, because I've always thought, I was like, okay, you know what a good show would be, I think I'm really funny when I'm scared.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just, I was like, I basically wrote down all the things that I'm absolutely terrified to do. And I was like, that's actually really good content because like, it's like Jackass.
Uh-huh.
Like after a while watching Steve-O do, he always did the craziest things. Watching Steve-O do stuff wasn't actually the most entertaining once you got out of the factor of like, holy shit, did he stick a fish hook through his cheek?
Yeah.
Once you get past that, it wasn't entertaining because he was fearless.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah.
He's going to do it. He's crazy.
He's going to do something gross. He's going to do something insane. He's going to almost die. But there's like, he's dead behind the eyes because also at the time he's on a ton of drugs. The funniest one was a guy named, the guy Dave England. And the reason why he's so funny and so fun to watch is because he's fucking terrified that the bull's about to hit him.
Uh-huh.
And that's way more entertaining. So I have a lot of stuff if you want to do vlog stuff. I have a lot of like, hey, what are things that Jack's terrified to do?
Yeah, it just feels like so hard to be like with our current schedule being like, let's go out and do things and let's record that. Like, yeah, I guess that's work, but I'm like, well, we have other things.
We got a lot of stuff
on the agenda.
We got a lot of stuff. Speaking of the agenda, I got some news stories to start. I have a few things I want to go through, but first I wrote down some news stories.
All right, give me the news.
Okay. Andrew Garfield recently said in an interview that he 100% would return as Spider-Man. And my response to that is, yeah, we know.
I loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and everyone gave me shit for it until when they did the whole all the Spider-Mans reuniting, and now everyone's on the Andrew Garfield Spider train.
No, not everyone's on the Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's on the Garfield Spider-Man train.
I swear the internet was like, and then they started rewatching it, and people liked him again.
Like, oh, you know what? This is good.
And I liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I've always been on his team.
You've always been a Garf head?
I've always been a Garf head. There's
a Garfielder.
A Garfielder.
Yeah.
There's always been things that I'm like, I will defend it. I will defend Suicide Squad. I liked it.
I didn't.
Nobody did.
I don't like magic. I don't like when they're bringing apart. What if it's like the new Marvel? It's like, why aren't people going to theaters? It's like because everything's magic now.
Yeah, everyone's a witch.
The main superheroes are witches and wizards.
Yeah, it doesn't really count anymore.
No, this isn't fucking Harry Potter.
Go to Hogwarts, yeah.
Yeah, go to fucking Hogwarts. Or one of the other youth novels. I just thought that was funny because it was like Andrew Garfield saying he'll return as Spider-Man. It's like Chris Kirkpatrick and Joey Fatone saying they would definitely return in NSYNC. It's like, yeah, we fucking know.
Yeah, we know.
We know. We're not asking you. Other people have to be involved. Okay. Yeah. Other stuff. Oh, James Blunt.
Your favorite, JB.
Legitimately said that he will change his name to anything the public decides if his new album goes number one. Now, I'm conflicted here.
You're a big Blunt head.
Because I fucking love James Blunt. I'm going to listen to his new album with or without this. But now I might not because I don't want Jimmy B to... I don't want him to have to change his name. His music stands on its own.
It does.
I legitimately know like all of James Blunt's catalogs. I love it.
I saw James Blunt once in concert, which is hilarious, but not his concert. He was opening for Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. Ed Sheeran should fucking open for James Blunt.
Ed Sheeran's good though.
Ed Sheeran's that's how good James Blunt is.
Yeah, but the best part of it was no one knew any of the songs until like obviously like the end where he's like, okay, I'll play the You're Beautiful or whatever.
That's despicable.
It was like one of those where it's like nobody knew.
I guarantee you. But now I'm high. The problem is that sounds like Tal Bachman's High too, but he has a song called High as well.
Yeah.
Wise Men, that's my favorite James Blunt song. I guarantee you I'd be the one. It's like when we went to the Pitbull concert. What was the song that played? Oh, or was it Ricky Martin?
It was
Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique Iglesias.
All right, we saw Pitbull, Enrique Iglesias, and Ricky Martin. They had like the trio tour.
It was the trilogy tour.
The trilogy. It was awesome.
We talk about a Pitbull concert once per podcast, and I don't plan on changing that.
Well, yeah, it's the best show I've ever been to.
Ever.
I've been to a lot of shows. Pitbull's number one.
Number one.
Every time.
Sorry, continue.
And there was one Enrique Iglesias song that he was playing. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is my favorite one. And I noticed we're in the Staples, now Crypto.com arena. And I noticed I'm the only one in this entire place that is singing this song.
Let me set the scene for everyone.
Yeah.
So we're at the Crypto.com arena.
Yeah.
Jack's wearing his most Miami button-up shirt that's been in a few sketches.
Certainly.
It's been one of those shirts that when you wear it, half the comments are, where is this shirt from? It's very colorful, very vibrant.
I always say, ask my wife. She buys my clothes.
Yeah. I believe you were wearing some white jeans.
Yes.
And a white wife beater in your open Miami thing.
I was very Miami Coke Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had that whole getup going on. We are surrounded by nothing but Latina women.
I was going to say, there was like 4 white people there. It was very, I guess, but it's Pitbull, Enrique Iglesias,
exactly.
Ricky Morton, of course. Yeah.
That's where the audience.
Yeah.
And so they're all eating you up. You know, they're like, who's this white boy in the stands?
Who's this white boy?
He is absolutely crushing it right now. He's being so goofy and fun. Everyone's like kind of giggling at him, like doing his thing. Everyone's singing the songs you don't know, besides the obviously like the Pitbull hits and the Ricky Martin hits and like. Yeah. But when like Ricky Martin's on stage or whatever, you don't really know those songs.
Yeah.
They're all singing to it. You're dancing to it. All of a sudden, it just stops when Enrique Iglesias plays this one song.
I'm going to pull up the song because I'm forgetting which one it is because I know all of.
Because I don't know this song either.
No one of the 20,000 people there, I was the only one that was like, "Fuck yeah!"
You were like, "Finally, Enrique Iglesias is going to play this song."
Oh, it's the "You can run, you can hide, but you can't escape my love." Here's how it goes.
I literally have never heard that song before.
Oh, I love that song.
I was so confused. No one else had either. And so all of a sudden, you're the star of the section.
But it was the most awkward thing ever because I was like, did I not?
You're like, anyone?
Did they tell us to be quiet or something? Like, anyway, that's how I'd feel at a James Blunt concert.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Anyway, although I do have to say, I think if he did have to change his name.
Yeah, what would you change it to?
I think for James Blunt, it's easy. It's Blames Junt. I think just switch it. If you have a good name like that, like mine have a vowel, so it doesn't really work. It'd be like Oak Deshay.
Yeah, no, that doesn't really work.
But you could be Tequila Mezcal. It kind of sounds like a tequila.
I was going to say, it kind of sounds like, what's his name? Paul Mescal.
Yeah, who's that?
I think he's some actor. He's one of those ones all the girls love. And I'm like, I don't feel like I've seen anything with him, so I'm not on that train.
Okay, wait, I got a great. I kind of can't believe this is real. So in court, Diddy, he put in a new plea, and in the plea he said that he promises to ban women from his home if he is released. That's the greatest. That is the greatest. In football, we call it a Hail Mary of like, fuck it, we got to score now. We've gotten to that level where he's making like, I know it sounds nuts, but what if the judge like considers this? Like, what if let's just throw no women in my house. Deal.
Women are not allowed in Diddy's house.
Not allowed. How would you even enforce that?
Right?
Also, I don't know. That's just the funniest.
That is so funny right now, just because of all the Diddy stuff. It's like I'm so deep on like conspiracy TikTok right now.
Yeah.
Where they're like, everyone's going, because they're making it seem like a lot of people are about to go down.
It does sound like it.
Like they've made the announcement, like the investigators have been like, there's some pretty big names that have not just been bystanders essentially. And so obviously everyone online right now is like, okay, so Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce are the Illuminati. Like that is like,
I don't know if they're the Illuminati as much as they're a bunch of greedy, very, very successful, terrible people.
Yeah.
Evil people.
Yeah. But it's like everyone's basically posing this online as if like this is a whole big thing. They're the puppeteers of everything. Yeah. And I'm like, here's the thing. I just love, I don't believe most of these things, but I'm like, I love a good conspiracy video. I'm like, I will sit down, I will think about it. I'm like, well, maybe that's a little suspicious.
I have to keep track. It's like, this is a weird, as crazy as it sounds, this is a fun conspiracy because it doesn't feel.
Because it's like celebrities going down. It's
celebrities going down. And everybody's saying too, they're like, no, don't, it's going to end up like the Epstein stuff. And it's like, no, first of all, no, it won't. If there are celebrity names on it and stuff, they will go down because Jay-Z and Beyonce, believe it or not, and Ashton Kutcher don't have the same level of influence as Bill Clinton and Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And that's Epstein, like, That was the major leagues. Diddy, compared to that, this is T-ball.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Hollywood is like all these celebrities, it's like they are famous, they are big, they are powerful because they're rich.
Yeah.
There is another like 3 layers of society that is like they have the power. The billionaire list.
The people you don't even know about.
The richest people in the world list, that's not the richest people in the world. That's a fake list. Yeah. That's a fake list.
Yeah.
You think truly the richest person in the world is like, I'm going to get on this list?
No.
No.
That's just silly.
I don't know, but I do love conspiracy videos. Even though I'm like, don't believe it. I'm like, put the little suspenseful music behind these videos.
I believe in a lot of the stuff too.
Yeah,
because you know what, I like Nikki or Cardi. If I said it, I do my own research. Mm-hmm. And
they both did their own research, I believe, separately.
Oh,
just like I believe Cardi B researched some sort of election thing. And then Nicki Minaj researched the vaccine. And then Lady Gaga researched January 6th, where she went to the Capitol.
Guys, you should. You should. That was the weirdest thing when they jumped on. Who did the vaccine?
Nicki Minaj.
When Nicki did that and everybody was jumping on her, it's like, no. You're terrible. It's like, what? She just wants to read the things. I don't know. That's stupid. Chris Martin says Coldplay will retire after releasing 2 more albums. He said 2 more and they're done.
And then we're free.
Yeah, I was going to say, sick, dude.
Is that a threat?
It feels like one. Fucking feels like one. Like Quentin Tarantino, his whole thing is, I think it's 10 movies. He's like, I'm going to make 10 movies.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. He's been on, I want to say he's on 9. He's done 9.
I think the next one's 10. I think that's what everyone's.
But I think the last one was 10.
Was it?
And he was like, actually, Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2 are 1. Like he's going to keep on making movies. But
yeah,
with somebody like him, he's like, oh, I'm going to only make 10. People are like, no, don't make more.
Make more.
We want your stuff. Coldplay is one of the many bands. They're like the original Imagine Dragons, where it's like they were so fucking good the first few albums.
Yeah.
And then they just sold out.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I've never been a Coldplay fan, but that's not my type of music. So it's like
Yellow and Sparks, and I mean, once
I can't listen to Yellow.
Yeah, you can't listen to music that makes you sad.
Yeah, but I also watched like a airplane crash simulator video. They were playing Yellow in the background, and now when I hear Yellow, I just think of a plane crash.
Yeah,
so
you can't do that.
Listen to that.
Can't do that though.
Can't do that.
I can. I don't have the plane crash issue, and Yellow fucking slaps. But then they made that one song. Something Just Like This.
You know what? I was going to say, I actually kind of like that one.
Okay, because that song might as well have been made by AI.
Yeah, that's true. It could have been anyone.
It is just like we looked at the data, and if you do this, it works. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's the stupidest song I think ever. I'm going to pull up the lyrics to Something Just Like This right now. This is like, I can't even tell you how angry I got.
Is that the one that Beyonce jumped on to remix?
Probably.
Chris Martin's going down too.
I could see that.
It's all a big web.
Okay, ready? This is Something Just Like This. I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths. Okay. So he's reading
some books.
He's reading like ancient Greece stuff. You know, the Zeus and whatever. Achilles and his gold. I don't know a ton about Achilles, I guess, but gold is not that's not a thing that Achilles has.
Was he not like
Achilles' shield was basically the real symbol.
Yeah.
Hercules and his gifts. And then he goes from Achilles and Hercules to Spider-Man's control. What the fuck does that even mean? Spider-Man's control? What, like,
you're right.
What does Spider-Man fucking control?
He
Chris?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. I get really, and Batman with his fists. Okay. Yeah.
You know what? At least we're acknowledging it's Batman and his stupid fists.
You could have done Achilles and his fists, Hercules and his fists. But they all have fists. They all have fucking fists. They all have them, Chris. And clearly, I don't see myself upon that list. Well, I should say so.
Yeah, I would say Chris Martin is not equal to Batman.
No. I would also say that Batman and Spider-Man are not equal to Hercules and Achilles.
No.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Do
they write their own music?
I fucking hope not.
I don't know.
But I love it. It's the reason why I'm upset. The reason why I'm upset is because they were so good.
Okay.
They were so good.
Yeah.
And they sold the fuck out.
I get that.
I just can't do that.
Yeah, he's dating Dakota Johnson, which is
Don Johnson's daughter. Love it.
Because she's kind of a character. I like her, but I also she's one of those people where, like you, how you're always like when everyone likes a person, you kind of get. She's the one where I'm like everyone loves her.
Have we been on since the Dave Grohl?
No, actually, I think the last thing we recorded was we were like next week we'll talk about Dave Grohl because we forgot.
Okay, so Dave Grohl.
Have your victory lap with that.
I haven't. I have.
Actually, sorry. Let me preface. I'm not sure if we talked about it on this podcast that you. When everyone likes someone, you don't like them or you're suspicious of them. Like if everyone is like, I feel like we did, but I can't remember if it was an episode that actually we posted or if it was one that we recorded and didn't post. Cause we recorded like 3 or 4 that we didn't post.
Yes. So
yeah.
So here's how I would describe it. So and I think it's probably one of my most annoying qualities, honestly. I am really resistant when the internet, when the people elect a new idol of a person who's the new Martin Luther King, the new Jesus Christ, who can't do anything wrong and is only good and is only joy. I immediately am like, it's not that I don't like that person. I get really suspicious of that person.
Yeah.
And especially, and this is what Dave Grohl did, especially the person who embraces this I'm perfect thing. So previous iterations of this would be Betty White. She was the internet's golden gal.
You know, she made it. She died out.
She died out.
She got out.
She got out. Dolly Parton is the current one. Betty White died, and they gave it to another kind of older, white-haired, symbol. Not symbol, but just like woman. Keanu Reeves.
He's the big one for me.
He's the big one. But here's the thing with Keanu Reeves. The reason why I'm not as suspicious about him, even though I wouldn't be shocked if anything came out, is because he does not embrace it.
That's true.
He's not even on the internet.
That's true.
Like, it basically kind of goes back to like, okay, who are these celebrities that nobody can find their old tweets? And Dave Grohl, for whatever reason, I was the biggest Foo Fighter fan ever. I still love all their early shit too.
Oh, I love Foo Fighters. Yeah.
I love it. And then he just got super like into himself. I'm on everything and I'm amazing. I'm Dave Grohl. And everybody's like, oh my, well, it's Dave. The same way that people were like shit on Nickelback for no reason. All of a sudden people just started sucking him off. It was so weird. So I told you, I think a few years ago, it's like, I don't trust Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Something's up. I don't like when people do that. Everybody's about to be blindsided. Bill Cosby is probably the original of everybody was like, well, he's no Bill Cosby because Bill Cosby's great and he's perfect and all these things. And then what do you know? He's date raping chicks.
Yeah.
Bill.
So, damn it, Bill.
So this happens.
You know what?
Yeah.
Do we just need to be suspicious of men named Bill?
Clinton, Gates, Cosby. It's quite a trio there. Be Billy or William or Willie Bow, like my brother.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Foo Fighters, they just announced an indefinite hiatus. I don't want to say like I called it, but I fucking called it. I was like, something's up.
I think an indefinite hiatus is a little dramatic.
Sweetie, it's not an indefinite hiatus. Their drummer died. Dave Grohl's best friend died, and they were back on tour in 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not stopping.
Yeah.
They'll be back in a second. Yeah. And then at the same time, too, the thing is, it's like Dave Grohl's a rock star.
Yeah.
If he wasn't idolized and put on this pedestal by the entire internet, and by the way, by a lot of people who don't listen to Foo Fighters, the people who loved him don't listen to it.
Oh my God, I have another one that I'm like, I don't trust you, even though he's done nothing. Matthew Gray Gubler.
Oh, I never trusted. He's that guy with the face I don't like?
Probably.
He's on the crime show?
Yeah. So
I don't like his face.
Don't trust him. And he's one of those people who like, he like overly embraces his fans in real life, and he like does the like, because it's the like, his fans are the online girls who are like, oh, I loved you in high school or whatever. And he like does that thing where he like tries to make you feel really special with those fan interactions. And I just, from being someone with like a YouTube background where I'm like, I know that there are certain YouTubers that like the girls in that age group loved.
Yeah.
And they would do that where they're like, I'm going to make you feel really special and like all this stuff. And I'm like, this girl's 16. And you're like giving her a kiss on the cheek and like weird shit like that. I'm like, I always like flag those guys. And usually those guys I was right about.
Here's my only defense of him.
that's the thing. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
He just does the thing where he makes people feel like overly special. Well, he's just being nice.
Yeah.
But something about it gives me the willies.
So my only defense of Matthew Gray Gubler is there a chance he's just not a big enough celebrity that he's kind of just taking whatever love he can get?
Maybe.
Like how if you go to Cameo, it's everybody on it is Matthew Gray Gublers.
Yeah.
And they're all the ones it's like the entire cast of The Office where it's like people love them.
Mm-hmm. They're not working really.
Their livelihood is to embrace any love that they get and try to make a profit off of it.
Yeah.
That said, though, I have always been kind of like, I don't know, he just seems kind of...
He just reminds me of too many of those people I know where I'm like, you're really embracing this, like, I have power over the fans thing.
Yeah.
And so it's probably just my bias of thinking of those specific people.
But your bias is often very right.
That is true.
A lot of celebrity deaths this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, we have Maggie Smith.
Uh-huh.
The Harry Potter lady who's great. Dikembe Mutombo, your favorite.
Who?
He was a basketball player on the Houston Rockets. But he was great. He was actually like a really, really great guy too. And you know what's interesting is if you look at like, the sort of like all-time, not that Dikembe Mutombo was like an all-time player, but if you look at like the all-time greats for, the three big sports, four if you include hockey and stuff, usually like NFL, they die young.
Yeah.
For a million reasons, injuries, head injuries, they're usually much larger and large people die quicker. That's why men die first. One of the many reasons. But it's weird that NBA, like their all-time greats, most of the people who you would have on like the top 10 all time are still alive, which is just...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Speaking of, I was just going to say this week, I found out LeBron James is only 39.
Yeah, and that shocked you.
Rocked my world. I was like, what do you mean he's younger than my mom? Like,
yeah.
That throws me off. I thought he was pushing 50.
Really quickly, let's just say your mom's 45 now?
My mom's 45.
Yeah, because your mom had you young. So it's like if I said like I can't believe LeBron's younger than my mom, they'd be like, really?
Yeah, because I'm like my mom is the Kardashians' age. Like
yes, yeah, your mom is Kim or Kourtney.
I think Kourtney's age. Kourtney's age.
Yeah.
So like, and Kourtney Kardashian just had a baby. Like
yeah, no. So it's different. LeBron's the thing is he was not the last. I think he was the second to last. I think Dwight Howard was the last player drafted out of high school when he was 18.
Okay.
LeBron was the year before. And then they were like, we got to stop doing this. So he's
been around longer than...
He's been playing in the NBA for 21 years. He wasn't in the NBA for 18 years, and now he's been in the NBA for 21.
That makes sense. When I look at him, I'm like...
And he's been famous since he was 16. He was on Sports Illustrated when he was 16. So...
Okay.
I mean, we're talking 23 years of LeBron James. Also, he does look older.
He looks older, right? That like rocked my world when I saw he was 39. I was like, he's in his 30s? Like that blew my mind.
He's been kind of dealing with hair stuff forever because now he's like gray, but he dyes it, but only sometimes. And his beard doesn't really dye. And he started losing his hair when he was like 15 years ago, but I think he was afraid to do the shaved thing because that was very Jordan and they were always compared to each other.
Yeah.
So like, this is what I'm like. And so then he got like hair plugs and then he started doing the thing. It's actually really funny if you look it up. LeBron James started wearing like a head sweatband, but over time as his hairline receded more, it just became the biggest head sweatband. Like it almost was like half of a beanie at a certain point.
Wearing a beanie.
And what's funny is he's just so good that like would, all of a sudden they start selling those.
Yeah.
It was like,
it's like LeBron wears them.
Maybe I could wear that.
Yeah.
People would be like, oh, he's full head of hair.
You should wear one on the podcast.
But then also John Amos and Chris Christopherson. I love Chris Christopherson solely for the name.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Yeah. And it's KK. He's like the original Kardashians. Okay, so the vice presidential debate was just the other night. I kind of want to just talk about Tim Walz for a second because I kind of can't stop giggling about Tim Walz and nothing that happened with the debate.
Okay.
But just so when he was selected, it was very clear that I'm like going to start tearing up. I'm going to cry or laugh. So when he was selected, it was very clear the Democrats were like, and the Republicans are like, okay, if you look at the people who vote for the parties, men typically vote for Republicans and women vote for Democrats. And so the Republicans are trying to get the women the center women, and the Democrats are trying to get the center men. And so they were like, we got it. Tim Walz, because he's the bridge. And they started doing this thing that I kind of started keeping track of it, of they were acting like he's this double threat of like everything, where it's like, I swear to God, the first few days, all of the kind of Democratic media, MSNBC, ABC, and a little bit of CNN, and then the Amy Klobuchar's, the DNC spokespeople, they had these clearly like pre-written lines of like, he can do this and he can do that.
Yeah.
And the way that it was, my favorite one was, he's like, he agrees with like transgender bathroom rights, but he also drinks like Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's so funny to me is because for whatever reason, like somebody needs to talk to the Democrats, listen to this podcast. It is so beyond patronizing.
Yeah.
To men, to the average Joe. This is what I think happened. I think that the DNC marketing team was like, okay, we're trying to reach the independent male voter.
Yeah.
What do the independent male voters, what does the average guy like? And because none of them are normal people, they did what we all do for Father's Day.
I was just about to say, it's like the Father's Day gift.
They literally Googled, what should I get my dad for Father's Day? And everything that comes up, and it's on every blog, every website, it's the dumbest thing ever. It's like, it's all the same. Make your own beer kit, camo clothes, hunting stuff.
You want some grill stuff.
Stuff for meats.
Yeah. You want a sports memorabilia?
Sports memorabilia. Yes, exactly.
Maybe a shaving kit.
Shaving. Yeah. Anything for, man stuff. And they're like, okay. So that's what men are like.
That's what men are like.
And they were just like, all right, so Tim, he's got to wear the camo hat everywhere. I
know. I keep seeing camo like Harris Walls hats.
But who's wearing it? It's
honestly like girls, because
that's my point.
When I saw it, I was like, that's kind of a cute hat.
That's exactly my point. Believe it or not, the men like. Here's a real newsflash too that I don't know if it'll be shocking to you, but it has to be shocking to at least the progressive side of the Democratic Party. Pete Buttigieg comes off as more masculine than Tim Walz.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that they can see that. But Pete Buttigieg to me is way more of I could see him actually watching a football game. Uh-huh. Which also, it's like, stop putting men in boxes. I happen to love football a lot. I'm obsessed with football. So, okay, that's me in a box. I'm not even that masculine, and I feel patronized. I'm not even like that manly of a man. Also, he's from Minnesota. That's my other.
Minnesota.
He's from Minnesota, and they're like, yeah, like a man state. What? Mm-hmm. All the states touching Minnesota, Michigan, the Dakotas, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois. Those are all way more manly states, just in general. But it's just so funny just seeing, they keep on sending him out there to he went to a college football game, to the fair where he orders hot dogs and stuff, as if this is what men do. And it's the funniest thing in the world to me. Every time I see the camo hat, it's always being worn by a woman.
Yes.
And they keep on trying to explain, no, see, you can vote for us because Tim Walz.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's the worst person for that.
I know. It's like they need to stop making him he cares about women's rights, but also he's a gun owner. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Or honestly, no, that's too okay, maybe, but he drinks beer. It's like
the most.
That is so. It's like those are two. It's complex issue, and then it's like I like the color green.
Oh my God.
It's I want them to lean in more with him of the he's a fun dorky dad. Do that and
hopefully they're gonna start doing that.
They need to do that because that's way more appealing than the come on guys, he's a dude's dude. It's
he weirdly is really good at getting, I think, women to vote for the Democrats.
Yeah, easily.
But if anything,
he seems like a nice, safe man.
No, it is so funny. Oh my God! The other day, the Harris campaign released a video that was Tim Walz working on I don't know if it was his truck or a truck. He was just working on the truck, And it was so clear.
It just makes me think of Veep when Jonah's chopping the wood.
No, that's exactly what it is. And it's like, okay, so one of my biggest pet peeves as a diehard sports fan, one of my biggest pet peeves is in sports movies. Apparently nobody knows how to throw a baseball or nobody knows how to throw a football, or they'll cast an actor in a football movie and it's clear that this actor has never exercised his legs in his life. And so he just looks like a little kid out there with huge shoulder pads and then toothpicks for legs, and stuff like that just immediately takes me out. And it's similar with like what they're having Tim Walz do, where it's like, yeah, to the people running the DNC, they can't see that the actor throwing the baseball is doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But to the people they're trying to reach, they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this hurts you more than it helps.
Yeah.
Watching him not work on a truck and like he was putting in a new air filter, and the air filter he took out was clearly brand new. I was like, what are we doing?
What are we doing, guys?
You were trying to act like this was, but then everybody's like, wow, he's really a guy's guy. I'm happy no, he's not.
I know.
No, he's not.
I think I saw only one good ad that I was like, that's good. And for some reason they like don't run it all over the place.
Yeah.
Where it's the like, hey, white straight men, basically from the Harris Walz campaign. And it's basically like, are you annoyed of like everyone calling you the enemy, like type of thing? And it's like, that's how they approached it with like,
that's how you have to do it.
They're putting you in a box and here are like actual issues and like, let's help you. Like, what do you think about these other issues and not just the like the loud voices? And I was like, that's a good ad.
That's a good ad, but that's also that's an ad that I'm sure it took a lot for them to put out.
But I was like, why aren't they running that everywhere? Because I thought that was because that's how you approach people. Don't scream at them that they're wrong.
I will say, so JD Vance, his first campaign ad for when he was running for senator, his first ad was he wrote it and he did it himself. And he said, are you racist? And he said, do you, basically just being like, are you tired? Ultimately, the message was, are you tired of being called racist for being like, hey, my town is now flooded with illegal immigrants? And it's like, that's the way to do it, because a lot of the people who are kind of afraid to vote, afraid to talk about stuff and stuff. Yeah. It's because they're the ones being called. He said it out loud. Yeah. And that's what the Democrats should do, is be like, hey, white straight men, you're not the enemy.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be the villain. That's not how you get on someone's team.
Absolutely not. Yeah. No. Definitely not.
No, like that's like my biggest thing with like a lot of movements and protests now, just in general across the board, from animal rights to like literally race, like anything. It's just the like everyone's screaming at people who are not even on the other side, but maybe just aren't like, I'm all in on your movement yet. It's like, you are the devil, you are and like that, it immediately, no one wants to be told they're wrong.
It's the only reason why the Democrats don't win every single election. Yeah. They're really exclusive. And it's the thing where it's like, what do they say? It's like Republicans look for commonality and Democrats look for differences. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, unless you are up to date with the current all these beliefs and you're adamant about them, then get out of here. You might as well be a Nazi. And it's like, okay, so you agree with all this stuff, but you're pro-Israel? Well, then why don't you go vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? I think that's just not a way to win elections, man.
I was thinking about him the other day. Yeah? It would have been so fun if they were just like not holding him back. Let him go. Let him be part of this.
Oh, yeah.
I wish he was still
he was third candidate?
Like, yeah. Like I wish it was like...
I don't know why because it was the DNC that was really trying to get him off. Yeah. He was only taking Trump voters.
I know. You know what? In this time of war and craziness, we need another crazy ass guy in the office.
That's the argument for Trump, sweetie.
But we need a guy who left a bear in Central Park or who's skinning a whale. We need that guy.
Okay, so that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. That reaches the independent male voter. Yes. Everybody kept like for whatever reason, the New York Times, CNN, it all kept on just being like, and you hear it, RFK Jr., a whale was beached and he tried to bring it home. That's cool. I was like, sick.
You could just do that? Yeah. Like
I would think about doing that. Yeah. Like if I saw a whale, there's part of me be like, can I fit that in my car? Yeah. Like that's how you reach me. You don't, calling that person weird and terrible for that thing. He's done a lot of weird stuff. Not how you get me. But you're sending out Tim Walz in his little camo hat to be like, listen, buddy. And like, that hurts.
Yeah. Also, screw the Kennedy family for not backing their own. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You got skin in the race again.
They're not, They're not,
boo. Because you're a huge
family.
Kennedy guy.
I love,
when I first started dating, I walked into your house and you had like 5 different framed Kennedy photos.
I think I've read every single book. I think I've read every single book that's ever been written about JFK and Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
I know a lot about the Kennedys.
Yeah.
And that's the funny part too, where it's like, this isn't a political podcast, but it's like, that's the part too, where it's like, believe it or not, RFK Jr. is a lot closer to JFK and RFK than the current Kennedy family thing. And so it's like, it's just really interesting, but it's the same thing that happens with all these like hierarchy, dynasty, family things. It started off with 12 kids, and they all had a bajillion kids. Now there's like 4,000 Kennedys.
Yeah.
And they're all the inheritance, the trust fund it's
running low.
Cut and like exponentially lowers every time a new generation pops out.
I just wanted to let everyone know that Jack is beefing with a little boy in our neighborhood.
Trash can kid? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So because this is just the most. I was like, who's this old man I'm living with that I've had in a while? Where I was
I assume half the things I do, you're like, who's this old man I'm living with?
Like, so we we live in a new neighborhood, which I love. There's kids, there's families everywhere. And a little boy who's one of our neighbors came to our door and asked if he could take out our trash cans like to the curb for $5.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, sure, awesome. I'm gonna go grab cash.
And first of all, the person who takes our trash cans out, am aware that it takes about 4 or 5 seconds to do so. And he charged $5 for it, so it's like $1 a second.
He brought them back in too.
Yes, and that made it better. I was unaware at the time that he was going to bring them back in.
So which I thought it was funny, and also I was like, you know what, good for you for this kid, because he's.
I immediately said yes.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
but I was like, he's coming door to door, which is kind of a lost art for especially a lot of kids right now. Like,
we live in a great neighborhood though for that.
Absolutely,
yeah.
But going and speaking to people face to face, he, but it was like, what was I supposed to say? No.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $5 to do the trash cans.
Yeah.
And so he immediately runs out and does it. And, that passes. Jack gives him the cash. The next week, before the little boy can come to the door, Jack goes, I'm going to take out the trash cans early so he can't.
Sweetie.
So he doesn't take $5 from us. And I was like, are you beefing with this little boy?
I'm not beefing with him. I'm beefing with the idea that I'm going to pay $260 a year.
It's $20 a month?
It's 52 weeks times 5.
Okay.
Math.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll trust your money on that.
$260 a year for someone to bring our trash can. Again, it's like 15 feet away and our trash cans have wheels. It's the easiest thing ever. If it was, I'd pay him. I think I'd go as high as, $2. I'd go $2 a week.
Yeah.
In my head, I saw it and I was like, this is a racket. I was like, I'm sure he's getting the entire neighborhood. This kid is going to be making like 20, we live in a big neighborhood, like 20 grand a year doing dick. And it's not beef. I respect the little boy. I respect the little hustle. I see him every day when I walk our dogs. Great kid, really nice kid. That was a little much. $5.
Just the following week, you racing to go outside.
It's been great because now I'm like, I got to bring the trash cans out.
Yeah. You just made such a point of it the following week of being like,
I'm not going to fall.
You were like, I'm actually going to go take out the trash cans right now. So that way he doesn't come to the door. You're like, I'll do like our weekly fridge clean out and like trash take out later. Just bring it to the curb or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just was like, is he really racing?
Yeah.
To not pay this kid $5. He can't be He's like 7, 8?
That kid's like 13.
No, he's not.
Sweet.
Okay, I'll give him 10. We'll be in the middle. He's 10.
No, that kid's like 13.
No, he's not 13.
I think I can recognize little boys. I have a bunch of little brothers.
He's not 13.
He's 13.
If he was 13, he wouldn't be playing outside as much as he does.
What do you think 13-year-old boys do?
Go on their phone, play games.
I'm sure he does that too.
13-year-old boys don't go outside like the
They're
an
awesome family.
They are.
I think there's like 6 kids in that family.
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids.
And that's how I know he's at least 13 because he's the oldest of them. Also, the parents are very short. That's why it seems like he seems kind of little.
I don't think so. I think he's 10. I'm going to say he's 10.
You know how I know he's
Jack has beef with a little boy.
You know how I know he's the oldest one? Because one of the first days when we lived here, his mom, one of their cars died or something. And the way our driveways are like up this kind of like little lip, like they're a little bit uphill.
Yeah.
And so her car died and she was in the car in neutral and her kids were trying to push the car up the thing. So we got out of the car from whatever errands we were running and I immediately ran over and I was like, I'm about to watch all of her children get run over with a car. It was a really, really bad idea.
Yeah.
What they were doing. Really dangerous. And I was like, okay, I'm going to help. And so all the other little kids except for me and the 13-year-old boy who was, if there's an older one, he wasn't there because it was me and him. I didn't know the kid. Tried to push and I looked over at him. I was like, dude, you got to get out of here. Like we're going to get run over by this fucking pretty heavy car. I guess I don't know. I gave him the money then, but this can't be a weekly thing. I'm not paying this kid $260 to do nothing. What is that teaching him? It's not teaching him capitalism because that's extortion.
Yeah.
That's not how capitalism works.
We could have said no.
I would never say no to him.
Exactly.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to wait for him to come and give him $5. I'm not going to spend.
Jack will ask the kids who sell candy bars outside of stores and stuff. Like, what position do you play?
Okay, no. Okay, so I have a rule. My rule is if there's Girl Scouts or if there's anybody selling like candy or something, like chocolate bars, raising money, something like that, outside of a like Walmart or whatever, I spend whatever cash I have in my pocket on whatever they're buying. Mm-hmm. Send these kids to camp and I get treats. Awesome. Great deal. We were walking out of Target one time and these 3 high schoolers were like, hey, can you buy, you want to buy some stuff to help pay for our basketball uniforms? And I was like, sure, because I know my rule. And then I noticed, what were they, 5'2"? And I was just like, I still bought it from them. And I was like, what position do you guys play? And one of them said power forward. And I was like, so they're lying, sweetie. They're lying.
But you have to remember,
power forward is the second tallest guy on the floor traditional.
That's when we lived in Southern California, though.
With all the Mexicans. I know, they're shorter.
Mexicans we're a lot smaller.
When we saw Pitbull and Ricky Martin, you would have thought I was the Kevin Mutombo, how tall I was compared to everybody there. But still, they're not on the basketball team. Baby, they're not on the basketball team. They're not. You do not make a high school basketball team in Southern California, even.
No,
if you're 5'2", you just don't.
There was some little guys on my basketball team when I was in high school.
I guarantee they were taller than 5'2".
No.
Really?
I went to school with some really little people.
But only little people? There wasn't.
I'd say majority little people. Obviously, there were taller people there, but yeah. I was pretty tall to go to school.
Well, you're tall for a woman.
I know. I'm tall for a woman. I'm a freak accident with why I'm tall, but I don't know.
Yeah, no. You're right. I am a curmudgeon. A little bit.
You're like whimsical, though. Because you don't tell the kids no. You always.
You got me now.
Yeah.
Good on you. I forgot. I didn't take the trash cans out yet. Good on you. But no, I'm not going to give you $260 a year to do. We also live like 2 doors down from him.
I know.
I mean, that's a gig.
One time when I was a kid, I tried to start like a dog walking business with like my neighbor friend. Mm-hmm. And so we made all these posters. We stuck them all over the neighborhood. Not a single person called us. No,
because what were you offering them?
Dog walking.
I know, but how much money?
Like $2.
Okay, that's different.
Because I had no concept of money. I think inflation wasn't real yet.
I'm guessing the reason why, for me, if I ever saw like dog walking stuff.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't give my dog to a kid.
Yeah. Well, no, I'd give it to a kid.
You would let a kid walk Goose?
Absolutely. In fact, if he came over and said $5 to walk your dog, I'll give him 10. Okay, so I've learned, I love football, you don't love football. Mm-hmm. I've learned that in order to get you to be interested in my passion of football, I have to deliver it to you like it's gossip.
Yes.
Okay. So I have this week's edition. There has been a ton of football gossip since week 1 because it's kind of this sort of like the doldrums of the season. But now we officially have some. And this is actually gossip where actually I feel like this kind of sounds like your like celebrity reality show gossip.
Love it. Hit me.
Okay. So have you heard of Davante Adams?
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah. Through you. And through Colin.
And through Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Well, you should also have heard of him because we live in Las Vegas and he plays for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He's a premier wide receiver. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. I don't know if I'd put him in like the top 5 right now because he's getting old. He's like 31 right now, which is pretty old.
That's really old.
Like, okay, grandpa.
That's like senior.
So he plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay. And the Las Vegas Raiders are not good.
I will say I did grow up in a Raider Nation home.
Raider Nation.
It was not a winning home.
It was not.
It was not a winning home.
The Raiders have a very sad history. Yeah. At least recent history since John Madden was the coach and whatnot. So anywho, 2 weeks ago, the Las Vegas Raiders lost. And Antonio Pierce, their head coach, said, which time out from the gossip thing, I think this is one of the funniest coach like interview things ever. He said there were a lot of guys out there making some business decisions. So I think we're going to have to make some business decisions.
Okay.
Which is such a good football guy.
You guys are getting cut. That's what he said.
Basically. So everybody's like, what does he mean by that? And then last week, all of a sudden it was like, oh, Davante Adams, he's out with a hamstring injury. And it was like, really? I don't remember seeing him like hurt his hamstring.
Oh my God, eat a banana.
And turns out, well, yeah, right. And so then it turns out now it's looking a lot like his hamstring wasn't injured. He was making a business decision and was like, I want to not play on this sucky ass team. And this week he started flirting like, yeah, trade me. Okay. Here's where it gets really good though.
Girl boss.
So somebody or one of like in a sports Instagram account, they posted a picture that was like, it looks like this could be, we might have already seen Davante Adams' last snap with the Raiders. And head coach Antonio Pierce liked it. Somebody's like, what does this mean?
Confirmed. He was not on his Finsta.
He was not on his Finsta.
He was on his Rinsta.
Oops. It was perfect. It was just like, not perfect. It was just very scandalous.
That is scandalous.
Isn't that legitimately scandalous?
That is legitimately scandalous.
Yeah. And now the Chiefs, they lost their number 1 wide receiver. And so between Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill is like, what the fuck? He's freaking out on the sidelines too, because the backup quarterbacks on the Dolphins, now that Tua is out with concussions, are just like awful. So he's like, oh my God, I fucking hate my life. This sucks.
Yeah.
He literally on the sidelines just doing that. It's like, well, will one of them be traded to the Kansas City Chiefs? So that's the current goss.
That is some hot goss.
Yeah.
I like the whole so question.
Yeah.
So you can trade like during the season?
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Up until it's something that we call the trade deadline.
See, I thought it was before season even starts. That's where the trade deadline is. I kind of think you should have to stick with your team.
Yeah, I think there's like there's a good argument for that, but then there's also an argument for like, why would you have to stick with like?
I guess I just feel like it's like, here's our team, because then the more you can like move players around, the less it feels like that's the team.
Well, trades don't happen that often for football in the middle of the season because football is like basketball. You can trade anybody to another team whenever, and
really
they can just play. No, I mean there's a trade deadline. So there's a trade deadline for every sport.
Okay, so this is universal for pretty much all sports.
All sports have a trade deadline, and the purpose of it is.
I guess because I'm just thinking about like the draft, like that's before. Like I feel like they would do like the drafts and the trades and then kind of solidify a team and then start the season.
They essentially do.
Okay.
But so like football or basketball and baseball, you can trade a player on baseball, especially. You can trade a baseball player to any team and then they can play the next day. There's not like a team dynamic thing. There's not like plays that you need to know or terminology that you need to know. But in basketball, the same thing now that it's kind of like positionless basketball. It's like just plug them in and we'll see if it meshes. Football, every team has different plays and most importantly, different names for the plays. So it's kind of like learning a new language.
Yeah.
So it's harder to trade like Davante Adams to the Chiefs. He might play the first week or the first week that he's traded, but he really won't play that much because it takes a week or two to
like know everything.
Okay, this is what you just told me to play. That means I do this. So they don't really trade midseason a ton.
Yeah. Can you like trade more than once? Like if you like trade one guy, he's on one team, and then can that team again like trade him again? Okay, so like what's to stop them from being like, okay, here are their plays? Or is it constantly changing?
No, that's a good question. That does happen sometimes.
Okay.
That does happen where it's like often what'll happen is, actually this isn't a great example, but basically last week the Jets with Aaron Rodgers played the Broncos, and the Jets offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, was the head coach of the Broncos a couple years ago. So this isn't a good example because it's kind of like it took a couple years, but often what will happen is if a big defensive player or a big offensive player gets traded to another team, when they play their former team, they do tell their coaches, like, by the way, this is how they run.
Okay.
The other thing though too is like the problem of them going around and saying like, oh, by the way, this is their secret thing is it's not really that beneficial to the other team because you can already watch what they do.
Yeah,
like you're not surprising them with any secrets. It's really just the terminology.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good goss though.
It's good goss. Honestly, I just would love to talk about football all the time too.
I know you do.
Yeah.
But speaking of sports.
Yeah.
We upset a community last week.
Oh, we did.
We did. So truly why we really took the week off last week was to like think and reflect and like do the work.
We did the work.
Before apologizing to this community.
The bowling community was very hurt. Rightfully so.
They are a small
but passionate
and loud crowd, and
louder than you'd expect.
Think that we accidentally reached the entire community.
Oh, we definitely did.
Like the entire bowling community.
I can't imagine there's more because we reached was it like 300,000?
Like something like that.
I'd be shocked if there's more avid bowlers in the country.
It was one of our most viewed like podcast clips was us in the last episode discussing why aren't bowlers hitting strikes every single professional bowlers hitting strikes every single time?
Why isn't bowling a 300 the norm? Because it's just all you need. Again, so the math of it is to bowl 300, you need to just have 12 strikes in a row.
Yeah.
And we were like, the pins don't change. The ball doesn't change. You're a professional. You should be able to do the fact that Michaela and I can go bowling this afternoon, and we'll probably, if we play one round, probably combine have 6 strikes. Okay. So we're not professionals. You have long nails. I have the problem where no matter what, I try to bowl it as fast as I can. I'm more, that excites me more than actually hitting the pins. We're not taking it very seriously, and we've never practiced. The fact that you and I can combine for half of the amount of strikes you need to bowl a 300 makes me think that the pros should not have a problem getting there.
So we spoke this opinion online.
Yes.
And we were told that we should basically go suck it.
Yeah, we were told we were wrong and we were put in our place.
And that apparently the thing that does change in bowling is oil patterns.
So the oil pattern. So you're saying this very with the tone, and we're not. There's no tone.
Sorry, there's no tone.
We're actually sorry.
We are sorry.
Because I was unaware that the oil on the bowling alley, the lane, was so drastically shifted throughout what do you call it, a match?
Yeah, a match.
Throughout a bowling match. I was unaware that every time you bowl, it's like you're on a new hole of a golf course, essentially. It's like there's no way you could do it perfect every time.
How dare us expect that of them?
I know, because
considering the same thing still happens at regular bowling alleys.
At regular bowling alleys, where I guarantee you they're not re-waxing the alley. And as we all know too, sweetie, when you bowl down, like if we go to like one of those like places where they have birthday parties, when you bowl down, sometimes like, oh man, that's right, that ball was perfect, and then all of a sudden the ball would just jump out, you know?
Yeah.
Because of the oil. I forgot about that there are speed bumps out there.
There are speed bumps. I'm trying to find some of my favorite comments that were left on this video.
There was also a comment I remember where one guy said, believe it or not, bowling is harder than American football. And I commented back, I think that might be the most insane take, because he was serious, actually.
Yes.
That might be the most insane take I've ever seen on the internet.
Because then I saw someone who was like, well, by that logic, like NBA players should be hitting free throws every time. And I was like, they should.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be a professional basketball player if you can't.
But
I know they're like, that's.
But here's the thing.
Because, okay, that one you're just throwing, right?
That one, it's a free throw, but.
They should be.
Here's the thing.
But that's hard.
You're right. And that is expected. Basically, when you get to shoot a free throw, if you miss, people are upset with you. Because it's literally supposed to be a free point. But when they do miss, what time is it in the game? What happened before? Often you go up to shoot free throws because you just got decked. So you're kind of like shaken up.
Yeah. And that makes more sense.
You're exhausted. You're sweaty. The ball is slippery.
I'm trying to find one of my favorites, but I can't find. There's literally so many comments on this video.
I know.
That
people are upset.
Fucking Revenge of the Nerds online is acting like we said the N-word.
They really are.
Okay, here are a few. This is the worst take I've ever heard. Clear engagement bait. Leaving this account behind. It says, being a professional doesn't mean you're perfect all the time. How are you that closed-minded?
Wait, can I just touch on somebody thought that was engagement farming?
Yeah.
We didn't even know that you existed.
I didn't know that the bowling community, that's like us being like, Andrew Tate might be right sometimes. That's engagement bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's trying to reach a large audience to engage with it. We were shocked that there were this many people who were passionate.
Like there was one that was like, hope that podcast equipment wasn't too expensive because you guys clearly shouldn't be giving takes. It's like, guys, this is a comedy podcast.
Yeah. Also, fuck off. And it wasn't expensive. It was given to us by Rode. Thank you, Rode.
Thank you, Rode.
This was for free.
Yeah. Affiliate link in our link tree. Podcasters who have L takes make no sense to me. You're literally paid to have takes. How can you be constantly wrong? Takes? We talked about bowling.
Talk about fucking bowling.
Do you think that we talked about this more often?
Your sport is what kids do on their birthday parties.
It is a birthday party activity.
So here's the thing. So we said that. People got really worked up. And so I was trying to think. I was like, okay, because it still doesn't answer the question to me totally. All right. We're saying ball doesn't change. The
obstacle doesn't change. The pins are in the same place every time.
All you got to do is hit 12 in a row and you got it. Why can't they do it? Why is it special when they do it? And the response was oil patterns. Mm-hmm. I'm going to very, very quickly just confirm and say, I don't think that's a valid response. Maybe if all these guys were bowling at the same time, a few of them, they got a bad thing on the oil thing. Some of them should be able to adjust. Some of them, it shouldn't affect their roll or whatever. I have a different theory.
What's your theory?
Because I don't think it's the oil patterns why they can't hit 300.
Why do you think they can't hit 300?
I think it's because, believe it or not, the best athletes this country has to offer don't fucking bowl. I think it's because the people who are professional bowlers are not the best of us.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Nothing but respect to professional bowlers.
Absolutely. I think it's great.
I think it's out. I love the bowlers. Great.
I love to bowl. Great. Bowling's fun.
Bowling's awesome. Our beef has nothing to do with professional bowlers. No. It has everything to do with the weird bowling dick riders.
There's like bowling defense.
What is
fund.
this?
I don't get it.
I've never seen people get, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have been terrorized online by Swifties, by like pro-gun people, by like big communities.
Yes.
Where I know that I'm giving a controversial take.
Yeah.
The bowling community is where it's going to get the worst. People are like, you guys are ignorant and stupid and clearly you don't know nothing about sport. What?
I can't wait. Somebody in the comments is gonna talk about how somebody's gonna be like, not the best athletes, and they're gonna just kind of send us some like, well, look up blah blah blah, and be like, this one's on steroids. Well, why can't he bowl a fucking 300 if he's got all the juice?
Thank you.
Why can't he?
You know what? If they can throw the ball hard enough, it's going to go right past that oil. I promise you.
Oh, it'll just smooth right past it.
Right past it.
Right past it. It's like, and
because I looked into it when people were like, okay, the oil pattern. So I was like, okay, let me
see.
Let me find out. I was thinking, oh, do they like lay down oil differently in like a weird way?
Yeah, maybe
and,
they
like,
make it harder.
Like in between, like is that the thing?
No.
Your ball still has oil on. Like everything is it's wax, it's oil. That's like truly. I don't believe you guys. I think you guys are making this sport.
Like 10 years ago, there was one guy who everybody thought was crazy for like one match. And I remember everybody was bowling the way that you're supposed, like how we've always bowled with one arm. We kind of do the thing and you end in like a little slick pose. I'm really good at nailing that pose.
That was really good. Yeah, you are.
I actually am like really good being like,
yeah, you always hit a pose.
Well, now that's not what you do. One guy bowled with two hands, and now they all bowl with two hands. So if 10 years ago, it took all the way up until 10 years ago for them to realize this is actually how you're supposed to do it, maybe there's going to be some person who says, you know what, this is how we neutralize the stupid fucking apparent oil pattern changing thing. And now you guys all get 300. And again, I'm not saying you get 300 every time. Nobody's perfect.
No, because that's the people like, you guys are forgetting human error. No, of course, but they should be getting damn close to 300 every time if they're a professional bowler.
Yeah, absolutely. 300 should be pretty close to par.
Yeah.
Of what par is in golf, which by the way, most professional golfers get under par. They're better than par. But it's also like, it's like a saying too, like, yeah, it's shocking to me that professional darts players aren't like always, even though there are more variables that can change in darts and stuff. What if a fan is on in the room?
Yeah.
Like that totally changes things. But if you look at, you can't tell me that if you took the best athletes in the country, the top 1,000 athletes who are all playing real sports, and you were like, from birth, you're a bowler. I think the 300 thing would be solved a long time ago.
Yes.
I think we have a lot of guys named Terry and Greg who drink a few too many beers and happen to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And good for you.
Because that's also the thing too. So these bowling leagues and everything, they're drinking pitchers of beer the whole time.
They'll literally drink during tournaments. How dare you say it's the oil pattern? How dare you? It's the oil pattern? They're drinking during it.
It's not the 2 pitchers of beer he just put down a second ago.
No, it can't be that.
It can't be that.
It can't be that he's not around all his buddies because they're all buddies.
I just could not believe that the bowling community is who we pissed off.
Yes. And I welcome it.
That's why I was like, I'm okay with controlled controversy like that, where I'm like, if I'm getting hate where it's like the bowling community is hating on us.
We're going to wake up one day we're going to be like, wait, what happened to our window? Why is our window broken? There's going to be a bowling ball.
Bowling ball.
Bowling ball right there.
We've been warned.
Stop talking about, or next time it'll be a pin through the window or something.
Yeah, I know. We say this with love because we love bowling. That's why we're posing the question.
I love to bowl.
And when we bowl, it's like, we're pretty good for people who bowl.
I'm pretty good. Yeah.
Once a year. We go bowling once a year.
If that.
Yeah. But it's like, when we do, it's like, we do pretty good.
Yeah.
Imagine if we did that all the time. Imagine if we had bowling practice once a week.
If I took bowling seriously, man, there's a world where it's like, if this thing keeps on going, which I don't know if it will, but if it keeps on going, you guys might be forcing me to.
You guys might be forcing me to practice. I will get a perfect game.
I will bowl 300. I will bowl a fucking 300. I will do it. And when I do, I want you all to shut up.
Yeah.
And I want you all to literally, the only comments can be, I'm sorry.
So what we need from the rest of you guys is all of the rest of you non-bowler community people, I need you guys to defend us, have our backs.
Have our back.
In this fight against the bowlers.
Yeah.
And not the professional bowlers. I don't have beef with professional bowlers.
Absolutely, dude. You get your money.
We have beef with the bowling fans.
Those guys are making tens of hundreds of dollars a year. Okay. I don't want to come after that money. It's a pretty sweet side gig from that and being I was gonna say birthday clown, but that's mean. Yeah. It's like how like NFL refs, they all have jobs.
Yeah.
Like the Ed Hockley, I think he's probably the most famous ref. It's like he's a lawyer.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They should pay refs more. They
get paid a good deal.
Okay.
The refs went on strike like 15 years ago or 10 years ago or something like that.
Because if you don't want them to be bought.
Basically, and what they went on strike for was like pay first class airfare. Like just like a bunch of random like little perks and stuff. It's like make it a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. And they got all their stuff. Refs have a good life.
Yeah.
Refs have a good life. As long as I always feel really, really bad for refs who get a call wrong and they get like death threats. Yeah, that's not fun.
That sucks.
Other than that though, it's like now they make a good deal of change and it all works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, they should have jobs. They work 18 to 24 weeks a year.
That's true.
For one day. It's one day.
That is true.
A week.
They don't do several games a week?
Mm-mm. They'd have to travel.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they literally work one game. Yeah. They basically work 18 to 24 weeks, 18 to 24 days. You should have a job at the very least just to fill your time.
All right, guys. Well, that has been this week's Public Pool Podcast. Please subscribe. Fight against the bowlers in the comments.
Mm-hmm. Fight against those bowlers.
Yeah, the bowlers on TikTok.
They're not very intimidating in person. They're slow. I'm kidding. I love bowling. No, we don't. But yeah, grab a towel. We'll see you next week.
See you guys next.